Why do I feel like I'm missing something? It'll come to me. Maybe Ballard's right. Maybe the real science fiction is the inner space of the body. That's a dick. Wait. Shit! My YouTube channel! Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. What do you mean, update software? Just log me in! Oh boy. Welcome back to TauZeroSF, or I guess a relaunch of the channel of TauZeroSF. I'm Keith, and well, let's just get to it. So, I've been gone for, well, quite a while. Well, it's not like I haven't been reading or anything. I've just been, busy trying to live my life, pay my bills. That doesn't mean I had any real right to neglect the channel as much as I did. So what have I been up to here? Well, it's not like I haven't been reading. And I've been working a hell of a lot too. Well, paying the bills. That said, I have done a few interesting things. So let's cut back to, say, last year around September, when a very tired me decided, you know what? It's now time for a vacation. So I packed my bags and I headed out. Oh, what's that you're saying? East Coast Canada? Where are you exactly, Keith? Glad you asked. And since I don't know how to work Google Earth, we're going to do this the old analog way. Ugh. All right. Atlas of the world. Oh, will you look at that? There's Canada. So, I'm going to be going from over here, specifically in Alberta, over here in Calgary by the Rockies. And I'm going to be traveling from over here all the way over to Atlantic Canada, where I went to St. John's, Newfoundland, aka The Rock, the home of the Newfies, the home of Screech, a great alcohol. And then down to Nova Scotia and Halifax. Never been to the East Coast Canada before. The Maritimes, Atlantic Canada, however you want to call it. And I found some pretty good stuff out there. So let's head over to the airport and I'll guide you through it. After getting up very early in the morning and hopping into a cab, I made my way to the airport, enjoyed myself a white monster, and got on that plane to fly all the way to the East Coast. I saw some lovely scenery, though. Touching down in St. John's, I was able to make my way downtown after, quite a long ride. The city of St. John's itself, though, in fact, pretty much what I saw of Newfoundland. was absolutely stunning. If you wanted to travel to Ireland and didn't want to pay so much, consider a vacation to St. John's. I saw so much fantastic stuff there. The War Memorial, all the streets and all the stores, fantastic fish and chips, fantastic beer, some questionable brewery names. Don't worry though, apparently that's actually a town name in Newfoundland. But oh boy, when I came across the one bookstore that's left in St. John's, maybe I should have chosen somewhere else to go. I really didn't find anything at the main bookstore of St. John's. I found everything to be overpriced, but I don't like leaving empty-handed. So I at least came back with this 1982 annual World's Best SF, edited by Donald A. Wollheim. Spine faded, and definitely not worth the price I paid. But I don't like leaving places like that without anything to show. It's not like it was bad. In fact, the owner is very, very nice, and she did let me look through some stuff that came in to try to find some science fiction novels, but overpriced, small selection. In fact, when I was there, a couple other people came in looking for science fiction novels, and they left disappointed. Not me, though. In Collected Pulp, this store I found on Instagram, the guy running it was so friendly, and he and I were talking, and he said he wants one day just to have a big shelf full of science fiction and fantasy books that he can sell. And right now, there were 2 or 3 small shelves like this, full of books, and I hurt my knees trying to, look for it all. But at least I came away with a book. And I did find Brian Aldiss' A Romance of the Equator, Best Fantasy Stories, which is actually the sequel to Man in His Time, the best SF stories of Brian Aldiss. They do stamp their books, which isn't bad. That's how much I paid for it. Now, this might seem like outrageous prices, but if I consider that's maybe like a $2 American, then I think that's not a bad deal. It was a very nice store. He sold a lot more than just books, though. He also sold toys, magazines, and movies. I'd like to go back one day, see how big that collection got. A random thrift store. Oh, might as well try. I'm sick of walking up these hills. Well, I'm currently left with 2 choices. So the thrift store here, this one doesn't open for half an hour. So I can either wait, and maybe there's something in there, maybe there's not. Or I can go to the main road and catch a bus to get to Value Village, which I know will probably have something. But there's 2 ways to go up the road. One is the mother of all hills. I keep being followed by bees. They must smell the Alberta in me. Oh boy. Please don't sting me. Ugh. Update. Still being followed by bees. Oh. I just want to buy some science fiction books. Not do massive amounts of cardio and outrun like a swarm of bees. Why does everyone else seem to have it easier?
be the day that I find some good books. I mean, this looks like a good place. A collectible card shop with a bookstore. I'm sure I can find something.
And after all that, all the bees, and heading from a completely different city back to St. John's via foot, what did I have to show for it all? This. What is with Newfoundland and not having any science fiction books? Ugh. Megalomania by Ian Wallace, Ada. Now, this isn't a romance book at all. Calling Greenland Harm's Way. It's actually a science fiction book. And actually seems like a very interesting read. I haven't read any Calling Greenland yet, though. Can anyone tell me if I should be reading Calling Greenland? Has anyone actually read this? I mean, I don't know. Might feel embarrassed trying to read this on the bus going to work. Time's Dark Laughter by James Caan. Reminds me of an ex-girlfriend of mine. Actually, well, most things do. The creature's life threatened the world, but its death would upset the universe. That's right. If you are upset with the world, you too can date some kind of lizard bird woman. She has a cool cat though. That's kind of nice. But yeah, the epic book haul of Newfoundland, only producing 5 books. Well, it's not like I had a bad time in Newfoundland. I did see a lot of nice sights, ate a lot of great food, drank a lot of great beer.
So here we are, Atlantic Ocean, and I've never been to it before. And right up there, you can see the Morricone Tower on Signal Hill. And that was the closest land connection for delivering wireless messages between North America and Europe. Talk about science fiction back in the day.
Now, being disappointed with the whole Newfoundland book buying, I hope for Halifax to be a lot better. Well, I headed to the airport, got on the plane, went over, and it felt like a homecoming since I'm from old Nova Scotian stock myself. Halifax? Absolutely a great city. I had so much fun seeing all the sights and tourist attractions like the HMCS Sackville, the last Flower class corvette in existence, the Citadel, an old fort that overlooks Halifax Harbor. Even went on a brewery tour to one of the oldest breweries in Canada. That's the Alexander Keith's Brewery. But you're here for books, so after doing research, I did discover that in Dartmouth, just outside of Halifax, there's a bookstore that bills itself as the largest selection of used books in Canada. So, hopped on a bus, went over the bridge, and decided to take a look for myself. That's Dartmouth over there on the McDonald Bridge, and there's supposed to be some good bookstores over there. Ugh. Hooray, more walking. At least it's nearby. It's just over there. And there it is, John W. Dole. I think it's Dole. Bookseller, Canada's second largest second-hand bookshop. Oh, alright, there's the typical YouTuber experience. This one's interesting. This is a Judith Merrill's. It's an omnibus of her short stories, but this is a Canadian edition. When she moved to Toronto, I think back in the 70s, and she just stayed here till her death. Yeah. Very interesting. Kind of tempted, but I have her like collected work. Margaret St. Clair. So I'm in here in JWD bookstore.
I use that as a bookmark, yeah.
Supposedly the largest bookstore in Canada. Maybe it's bigger than Russell's actually, now that I think about it, out in Victoria. And I'm hoping to find some great books here. I mean, who knows what I'm going to find in a random bookstore, right? It could just be anything, maybe anybody.
Hey!
Oh, wow. Richard
Hello.
Rempel. How are you doing?
Great. TauZero and Vintage SF together. Universes colliding.
Canada represent.
Here's the big one I found today. I've been looking for this everywhere, and it's in beautiful condition. Friendly folks here.
Absolutely fantastic place. If you're in the Dartmouth area in Nova Scotia, definitely recommend.
I agree.
That's right, I met Richard Rempel, host of Vintage SF on YouTube. And you know, he's just as nice in person as he is in his videos. Although, being in a bookstore and all of a sudden you hear a voice behind you that you've heard in videos saying, "Is that Keith?" and your heart kind of freezes for a moment. Oh.
So I'm Jane Sotero. I work at JWD Books, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, used bookstore in Canada. We've recently gone through a change of ownership, which hopefully will see us through many more years of existence.
And how did you save the store?
How did we save the store? So between social media and good old phone tree, the word got out in the community that there was a chance that the store would close, and people came. And it was interesting to be here because we moved from downtown Halifax about 13 years ago, and you heard people say, "I haven't been to the store since I moved from Halifax." But then you'd hear the next person say, "Well, I've never been to the store." So I think we've renewed interest in the store, and from old customers, but I think we brought in new customers as well.
Oh, it's wonderful. And it's absolutely wonderful place. Like, I found so much. I'm definitely going to recommend it to anybody. Absolutely A+ place. The staff are friendly, the selection was great. Highly recommend. Well, here's the stuff I picked up at that wonderful bookstore in Dartmouth. Robert Wells' Right-Handed Wilderness. You might know him for writing, what was it? Candle in the Sun, Candle to the Wind. Well, no, wait, that's Princess Diana, isn't it? Looks like someone drew on this. Desolation Road by Ian MacDonald. The Unearthed People, a science fiction novel of unforgettable power, hopefully an unforgettable book by Chris Neville. New Dimensions 1, edited by Robert Silverberg. I'm really looking for all these New Dimensions anthologies now. And at $2, that was a very good deal in my opinion. Let's see who's in this. Oh, some hard hitters there. We got Milesburg, Farmer, Dish, Le Guin, Dozois, Robert Silverberg doing introduction, Lafferty. Hopefully it's an interesting read. Brian Stableford with War Games and one crazy cover. One thing I love about British editions is when they do the wraparound art. Oh my, that is just incredible. Do we actually have an artist? No. Oh yeah, we do. There we go. Ian Miller. Great work, Ian. Robert Holstock with a fantasy novel, the sequel to Mythago Wood. Lavandus. Lavandus? Lavandus. Who knows? Wow. I haven't enjoyed a fantasy novel so much for a very long time. Well, I've never enjoyed a fantasy novel in my life. Maybe that'll change one day. I'm able to stand up like this guy. Jupiter Laughs by Edmund Cooper. I read Transit last year, which got me into reading Edmund Cooper. I really enjoyed Transit. Has anyone out there read Transit? Or have you been judging Martian ancestors while wanting to blow up the world? Who knows? Because Edmund Cooper is the one who has those kind of secrets. Inspired by several other SF YouTubers, I've come across a lot of these Del Rey / Valentine editions of the best of the Golden Age classics. This is the Stanley G. Weinbaum edition. In fact, this is a different kind of livery than some of the later editions. Doesn't that just look fantastic? I've never read any Weinbaum. I do know Martian Odyssey is supposed to be very good. Apparently someone read it twice, along with The Worlds of If. The staff at JWC Doll were also kind enough to let me rummage through some of their boxes not on the shelves, and I came across Spectrum 3, edited by Kingsley Amos. Cost me all $5, and Robert Conquest, edited as well. Great lineup. We got Sturgeon, Clark, Leinster, Anderson, Ballard, Bester. This is the only Spectrum I have so far. Oh, Killdozer! Anyone ever watched Killdozer? That was a great TV movie. Tractor coming to life, attacking people. Oh, I wonder if Stephen King might have seen that and thought, you know what, let's make it star Emilio Estevez. Alison Sinclair Legacies. What is a good legacy? Well, probably something I'm not going to really leave behind, but maybe this book will give me the answers I need in order to do so. I did pick up Hugo Gernsback's Ralph 24C41 Plus. Well, that's not what it actually says, because it's really 124C41 Plus. Remember when titles made sense? However, this is supposed to be one of the classics of the genre, or quote-unquote classics. I wonder if it's aged well or not. Very psychedelic cover, though. Chad Oliver's The Shores of Another Sea. Look at that ape man. That's like me in the morning. It was killing time for the big cats. I do need to read some Chad Oliver, though. Does anyone recommend this one? Or should I start somewhere else with Chad Oliver? Catherine Kerr's Polar City Blues, a 1990 cyberpunk novel with this fantastic cover. However, when I did get home, I realized, oh, I do own it already. In this also equally great Grafton edition. You be the judge. Which book cover would make you want to read the book? Double the Margaret St. Clair, double the fun, the Dolphins of Alter, the Dances of Noyo. God, this is what science fiction is all about. Dolphins, dancing, being brilliant. How long would men dance with the whips of the androids? Oh, I didn't know they were so kinky. A trilogy of books by Ian Watson, a writer I really like. Book of the River, Book of the Stars, and the Book of the Being. Well, you just look at that site. That's basically what it's like being in Halifax. Speaking of Colin Greenland from earlier, I did find The Plenty Principle by Greenland, a collection of his short stories as well as his sequel to Take Back Plenty, Seasons of Plenty. And I still have not come across a copy of Take Back Plenty in my city. Hopefully one day I will, because I do want to know what all the fuss is about with that book. And one thing you learn about a bookstore that has a searchable database is if you type in signed, what appears? Well, Orbitsville Judgment by Bob Shaw appears. This is a wonderful later Gollings edition, the concluding volume to the Orbitsville trilogy. And why did I want it so much? Well, that's easy, because it is a signed edition by Bob Shaw. There, with a very nice signature. I've seen some terrible ones in my life, but Bob Shaw definitely has a nice signature. I do have to read Orbitsville sometime. I don't know about those big dumb objects in space, though, novels. I really did not get along very well with Rendezvous with Rama. That being said, I love Shaw's prose. I really enjoyed reading Nightwalk. Definitely going to give that a read. It also pays to go back to the shelves because I discovered this on a second pass after Richard left. The Journey of the Joneses by Robert Sheckley. Well, that might not be very exciting in itself, but I'll tell you what is exciting, finding a Robert Sheckley signed book. I was pretty happy. Has everyone read this, though? Where should I start with Sheckley? I have a bunch of his books. Were Late the Sweet Songbirds Sang by Kate Wilhelm, an author I've been liking more and more the more I read her. This is a fantastic copy. I can probably get rid of my modern one now. Some more Kate Wilhelm with Margaret and I. Circus World by Barry B. Longyear. Fantastic cover, but I've heard it's not a very good book. Oh well. Only one way to learn is by reading it. Have to cover some inappropriate cover art, but you know what? Some Frederick Brown short stories I am dying to read. One of my favorite Ozploitation movies is Patrick, and I did not even know there was a novel version of Patrick. Along with science fiction, I also collect horror novels now, so if anybody's wondering, that's basically what I was up to for the last year and a half, just being comatose. Speaking of horror novels, finding Sean Hudson's Assassin was definitely one of the better things I found in that entire trip. I really like Sean Hudson. I feel like James Herbert, Sean Hudson is like, a sleazier James Herbert. And I read his novel Erebus last year. I had an absolute blast with that. This is basically Get Carter mixed with, like, the undead. If that doesn't sell you on it, well, maybe try something else. But you know what? If you like some grotesque scenes of murder and gore, followed by some inappropriate hanky-panky, then Sean Hudson is definitely going to be the writer up your alley. Well, I'm back officially, and you know what? To make sure I stick to a nice schedule, the next time you see me will be a proper review, and it'll be about The Star Virus by Barrington J. Bailey. So, I don't have a catchphrase or anything yet to end on, but I'll see you later. This is Keith from TauZeroSF. Bye!